When you enter retirement, you want to free your wealth from the market swings and the life events that can hold back your portfolio. Phil Telpner can help you find that financial freedom you deserve. This is the Breakout Wealth Podcast.
Welcome to the Breakout Wealth Podcast with Phil Telpner, Breakout Private Wealth. Wherever you are in the greater Chicago area today, we appreciate your taking a little time to listen to the show. I'm Ron Stutz, and Phil, it's always great to be with you.
Great to be here, Ron. Hope you're doing well.
We're going to do a lot of talking today about a work optional kind of lifestyle. And first of all, let me pass along Phil's phone number so you can call him and get a one-on-one conversation going with him. 224-616-2016. That is 224-616-2016. I'll give you that number again coming up a little bit later on. You can have an opportunity to meet with Phil in the office or virtually if you desire to do it that way, via Zoom or whatever the case may be. But let's get right to it today. Time for a pop quiz. And I don't know about you, Phil, but, you know, just saying the words pop quiz puts a bad taste in my mouth because I remember those days in school. I hated them.
Yeah, just those words can cause a little anxiety. It's some sort of flashback, right, Ron?
Exactly. Well, don't sweat too much because I don't think it's going to be too hard for you at all. Don't dread it as much as you hated hearing those words as a kid, but it's time for a pop quiz here. We're putting planning for, let's call it a work optional lifestyle under the microscope with 5 critical questions, and I need you to give us the answers, Phil, okay? So sharpen your pencils, and let's see how ready you are for this kind of conversation. All right. At what age should people start saving for what we're calling today as a work optional lifestyle? So many people want that. At what age should they start planning for it?
I guess the answer is yesterday. No. No. Here's a great thing, and I'm helping a lot of my clients do this. My oldest son just turned 19, so for the last year we've been putting money in his Roth IRA, and he's been contributing as well from his work, which is critical. You could put $6,000 in there, only up to earned income. So if you only make $4,000, that's the amount that you can put in.
Yeah.
But that gives the kids such an important head start. Just by the numbers, if you put in $6,000 for 4 years and do nothing else, I think at a reasonable rate of return, you'll have about $240,000 or $250,000. Just great. if you do nothing else. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really important with the kids to get them thinking about that early, because those years from 18 to 28 or 30, if you can get them going the right way, the amount of wealth that they can build is just amazing.
Yeah.
If that doesn't apply or you're just somewhere else in your journey, the answer literally is today. There is no, obviously when you start working, there needs to be income. After you buy your first home, too late. Some people say, I'm going to invest when I pay off my debts. Mm-hmm. Okay, debt can be a thing. Let's just talk about student loans or something like that. I always tell people you have to pay yourself first. I don't care if it's $50 a month, $100 a month. In fact, in my practice now, for everyone that's not, we'll say retired or who isn't in that kind of work optional phase, I am adamant that everybody now is contributing on a monthly basis. And like I said, I don't care. It can be $100. You'll never miss it. Mm-hmm. But you have to pay yourself first. Make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. You need to, start today or yesterday, as you said earlier. It's never too early to start, for sure.
Correct.
Okay, let me ask you another question here. Which of these is the best estimate of how much income you're going to need for this kind of lifestyle? 50% of your current income, 85% of your current income, 100% of your current income, or none of the above?
I think... traditional planning, I don't even remember what the number was. Replacement value, 80. I don't know anybody that wants to spend less money when they're thinking about what makes work optional.
Yeah.
I think the research shows that there's a retirement, what they call retirement smile spending pattern, where in the first segment of these years, you travel, you do all those things on your list, whatever that may be.
And you're in the go-go phase.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's go-go, slow-go, and then no-go, right? Mm-hmm. So in those middle years, spending tends to level off as things slow down. And then again, the last period of years driven by medical can really ratchet up spending as well. So I think ideally 100% of what would be obviously optimal, as I've never met anyone that is thrilled about taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
Certainly not in a period of their life where they're looking forward to something. My clients are generally between the ages of, say, 45 to 60. Some of them have had liquidity events where they can take some time off and kind of figure out their next move. But they still spend the same amount of money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've never been a fan of anything less than pretty much what you're used to spending.
I know that one thing you do is you specialize in ending financial anxiety. A lot of people out there worry about a lot of things. And of all your clients and, let's say, potential clients and all the people you've talked to in all the years in your career, what do you think most of those folks are scared of the most? Not leaving enough to the kids, running out of money, or needing nursing home care?
Great question. Depends on the client situation, obviously. I have some clients that probably could never run out of money. So their concerns, or worries, if you will, are quite different. Charitable concerns, legacy concerns, your point about children, leaving them too much, too little, at what time, what does that look like, spousal marriage. I mean, there's a million different things that could go on there. For a lot of people, running out of money, I would say, is number one. Mm-hmm. Like I said, for a large portion of my clients, they're at this point where their concern is, am I doing this right? They're past the point in there's a lot of people depending on them once you get to be, say, 45, like I said, 45 to 60. And you're really past the point of being able to elegantly recover from some mistake. And I think what I see from my clients is this is the time. They have older kids, they have college, they have their own retirement, aging parents, in-laws, whatever it is. And this is the time that they absolutely have to get it right and know they need some help to do so.
Mm-hmm. I know that you're all about. We always say listen, plan, and grow, and that's exactly what you could do with Phil Telpner. If you have a plan, you don't have to worry about those things. But there are folks out there who lie awake all night worried about running out of money or the nursing home care or not leaving enough to the kids, legacy, in other words, and all kinds of things. Let me ask you another multiple choice question here, Phil. You love this pop quiz?
How am I doing, by the way?
Oh, you're doing great, man. You're really doing great.
I don't even have anybody here where I could cheat from, so this is all new to me.
You can't look at anybody else's paper.
No.
Okay. Let me ask you another question here. Which of these examples best represents a diversified financial plan? A mix of 60% stocks and 40% bonds. B, 3 rental homes in different neighborhoods along with a significant amount of cash in the bank. C, 10 to 12 different mutual funds. Or D, none of the above. Take as much time as you like.
Oh, there you go. I have to hit the button, right? That one actually is easier than it looks. I'm going to say D, none of the above.
Right.
And here's why. All too often, I see people that think they're diversified, that have, we used to call it, I don't even know, like a mutual fund salad, just like a bunch of stuff thrown together. That is not portfolio management. That is not an efficient use of your capital, and it actually may come back to hurt you. I've seen that happen all too often here in this point of the market cycle. Real estate, all for it. I think it's great. I view that as almost a separate business in and of itself. Great. A significant amount of cash in the bank would worry me. I don't know what a significant amount of cash means, but cash, obviously with inflation, is a depreciating asset that loses a tremendous amount of value over time, and not like the oscillations of the stock market, but that compounds negatively over time, never to come back. So cash is important. Comfort's important. Too much cash, that's a red flag to me. Yeah. Again, 10 to 12 different mutual funds. I don't, most of those mutual funds can just overlap your exposures. So you think you're diversified. You have 5 funds that own the same shit. So that is not diversification.
So
that's a technical term, by the way.
Yeah, I thought so. Your answer.
My answer is strongly D.
Yeah.
And a plan is way more than just a handful of investments or some stocks or whatever.
Well, I want you to know that I'm getting to know you pretty well, because I predict that that's what you would say. None of the above. Okay, we're almost done with this. I know it's been a lot of fun, but I've got one more question here for you.
Oh, I'm killing it, right?
You are. Yeah, it's amazing. To make sure you don't run out of money, only withdraw what % from your portfolio each year? Now, I know there have been various, rules of thumb that people go by over the years about how much they ought to take out each year from their portfolio, but should it be 1%, 4%, 6%, or should you, D, find a different strategy altogether? Well, let me guess again what you're going to say. You're going to say D, find a different strategy altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I rules of thumb are great. Forever, there's been this 4% rule kind of thrown around in our industry, where you can withdraw 4%. Here's what I want to add to this without overcomplicating it. So important to have different buckets of investments. Tax now, taxed later, taxed never, meaning Roth. If you're working with somebody, maybe now is a great time as prices are down to do some Roth conversions, to get some money in that taxed never bucket. I see all too often people with just qualified assets. Those are subject to required minimum distributions at a tax rate, quite frankly, that is unknown in the future. I hate unknowns when we're talking about this kind of stuff. I like as many knowns as we can, because that's where people's comfort is, and mine too. Generally, oh my God, not specific investment advice, consult your priest or rabbi, CPA, whatever you do. Generally speaking, most people can think about 3% or so as a reasonable starting place. But there is so much more that goes into it. A lot of inflation assumptions, tax assumptions. The best way, I think, is to have a starting place, have enough cash where you're comfortable, have other sources of income, be it real estate, be it a pension if you still are fortunate to have one, be a part-time job, just something that is not going to stress your portfolio if you go through 2 to 3 years of unfavorable markets. Because what really hurts these, I guess, rules is taking money out of a retirement account more than your RMDs, I guess, into a down cycle. That just kills your compounding over time. So kind of thinking about it that way, making sure you have enough cash where you're comfortable, and just taking all the pressure off your investments, because having, the market doesn't care about us, you, me, anybody, and having to have the market perform so you can pay your bills just sucks. That's another technical term, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm adding to my vocabulary here. I just wrote that down.
It's great, right?
And I just wanted to let you know that you've done extremely well on this pop quiz.
Hey, there you go.
You shouldn't lie awake at night worried about that. So, yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ron. That means a lot.
Hey, it's been fun being with you today on this podcast, Phil.
Oh, you're the best. Thanks. It was great.
Hey, let me just tell you that, to kind of sum up what Phil said, it's a lot more complex than trying to put a percentage on it. There's so many things to consider. You got to take the comprehensive approach, take into consideration your lifestyle and so many other factors. And Phil Telpner does exactly that. It's all about planning. Putting world-class advice together with down-to-earth conversations, that's what you always get with Phil Telpner, including a few new technical terms that you may never have heard before. That's all you need. But you'll have an enjoyable conversation, I can guarantee it. If you'd like to talk to Phil, here's the number, 224-616-2016, 224-616-2016. Be sure and call that number. That is for Breakout Private Wealth. You can arrange to have an in-office visit or a virtual conversation with Phil, but that conversation is not going to cost you a penny. You can talk for maybe 15 minutes or so to address some of your financial concerns and see if you might be a good fit to work with Phil. So, again, no obligation, no cost, 224-616-2016. We'll see you next time on the Breakout Wealth Podcast.
Breakout Private Wealth, LLC, is a registered investment advisor located in Glenview, Illinois. Today's content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before taking any action.